Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my F1 Manager 2022 career mode. Now, we're here for episode 1. Now, the team that we're going to be driving for, you guys voted for Williams. So, without a doubt, let's get our journey to Williams to the top started.
Formula One, a sport that spans hearts, minds and nations, where the 20 best drivers in the world come together to take on some of the world's most historic circuits. Williams is a legendary name in F1, winning 9 Constructors' Championships in their heyday. The Williams family sold the team in 2020, and the 2021 season saw them fighting well from start to end. They finished 8th overall, thanks to some incredible performances by George Russell in his last year as a Williams driver. In 2022, Williams have Nicholas Latifi and new signing Alex Albon, returning to F1 after a year away to make up their driver team. The pressure is on for them to up their performance this season and push their way back towards those midfield places.
So there is our car and our 2 drivers, Latifi and Albon. As well, I do plan to stream this series at some point. Whether or not I'll get around to it soon, but at some point there will be a transgression to be streamed as well. Reserve driver, definitely want to improve the car because it's dreadful, and Jack isn't the best of drivers, so I'm pretty sure we'll have a look at that as well. But that is the first priorities.
Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm Audrey Mensah, one of the team's senior engineers. Welcome to the team. It's great to have you on board. We came under new management recently here at Williams, so you're joining us at a very exciting time. I'm sure you'll settle right into the team. Let's get you shown around. As our new team principal, you're responsible for a lot of aspects of the team. Everything from managing our team's growth, overseeing our finances, and deciding on race day strategies will be in your hands.
So just taking a quick look around, obviously we'll have a bigger look around in future videos because there's so much stuff in this game behind the scenes that, you know, just spent for years. Obviously the ball one has finished 9th and above. We're trying to improve that team rating as well, partly because that will try and increase the greater expectations, but hopefully we can do that with a few good results as well. And then, you know, everything's looking green as well at the moment in terms of projection and incoming. They're going to get outgoings aren't that big, but we'll probably change that as we look at that. Sponsor obligations, we've got driver appearances, we'll definitely get that to £111.5 million. As well, we've got memorabilia. We're not going to be worried about that because it's 87 grand, which will get me about 3p's worth of equipment on the car. Race hospitality, again, 350 grand. Not worried about that at all. As well, race simulator event, 2.7 grand. Not too bad. And merchandising as well. That's already costing us, but we're going to get that back. We've also got a party request, which we're going to approve because, yes, it costs us 10 grand, which isn't going to cost us a lot in terms of the big thing, and it's going to improve driver and staff morale. So just as long as they don't get too drunk and, you know, can carry on performing.
We can focus on our
as well. One thing, our staff as well, we've got technical chief and head of aerodynamics, 74 and 71. That's the 2 big focuses that I want to look at. Scouting better people for those roles. We've got 2 race engineers who are 77 rated, so I'm not too worried about those 2 for now. But in the early days, especially head of aero as well. And then also drivers, because I want to attract somebody or other than Latifi, and also want to replace Jack Aitken as soon as possible with a young driver that we can develop. Someone in F2, I think F3, they're all too lower rated and it would take a lot of time just to develop them, but somebody in F2, there are lots of people, young drivers available in F2. Jack Doohan is the most promising one, but I think a lot of people will be going for him. as well. He's also in real life, I think, isn't he a excuse me, I think he's a Alpine junior driver, but obviously they got Piastri as their reserve driver there. Dennis Hauger is somebody that I will look at. Obviously we could go for Logan Sargent to be realistic, but his politics are an issue, so we won't be going for him. As well, and obviously there's younger people in F3 that we can look at once, you know, we can look at the scouting possibly later down the line, maybe, if they have a good start. But for now, Dennis Hauger, you know, he's not had a great start. He's won a couple of races, but he's not had that great qualifying position. We're not going to guarantee anything because we're going to probably, they want us to finish 15th. That's not going to happen. We've not got the car at all to be challenging for 15th place. That's getting us out, and especially around this track, we're a lot slower than in times compared to Aston Martin, so that is annoying. But high speed, we're better than them, so that should be helping us at Jeddah. We want to try and improve that top speed as well by designing a new chassis as well, which is exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to put 4 wind tunnel hours, I thought, a couple of 0.5 of our 0.3 actually of our CFD man hour unit. It's going to increase drag reduction by 2%, engine cooling by 2% if we adjust it, which we are going to adjust it to get 10% more drag reduction possibly. We're going to have 4 there, and then we're looking at engine cooling to try and keep it as the same as possible, same as it is, so not affect that and make sure that. And then we're also going to look at decreasing the airflow, so we're going to get 7% more there, a little bit more engine cooling actually as well. So that's what I've gone for in the end by just tinkering with the focus sliders. It's a bit of a gamble going for it, might not work, but 3 engineers, it's going to cost 105 grand to design this new chassis as well. And we're going to go for a normal approach with 3 engineers. Then I also went for a rear wing. We're going to put 2 engineers. It's going to take slightly longer, 48 days. It won't be there until Spain.
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands.
So, first event, the game wants me to simulate qualifying. We will probably simulate practice 1, possibly. We might, depending that and then in future videos we'll probably go work on practice 2 and 3. Probably won't include that in the videos, but may possibly in the stream. But in practice 3, slowest of all, just showing, you know, we're not even faster than that Aston Martin, so that's not a encouraging sign that we're going to do anything. Fiddling about with this setup, but that's the thing, we need a bit of practice work in practice, especially practice 2 and 3, to get that set up better than 68%, because, you know, we can get that thing playing about with the setup here. It is quite fiddly, to be honest. So just try, you know, with this, just try and get the thing in the ideal range that we want as well. So in the end, that's something we'll look at in the practice sessions, just to try and get this as well. But, you know, you can see how fiddly it is. Just to try and get set up correctly as well. You can set them also to do multiple runs in qualifying, but I found that they weren't actually doing that great. It might be worth looking at something later down the line, but for now we'll just do one flying laps at a time.
Drivers need to be setting their fastest possible lap times, so we can advance to the next round of qualifying. The slowest 5 cars will be knocked out. Keep a careful eye on time remaining. The time limit on qualifying rounds really ramps up the pressure. Right then, let's get a car out on the track for its first run and see how it goes.
So we're going to send them out, but I'm basically going to do what I do with driver career mode and cut to the end of the session. Basically, to give you the fastest laps to show you there as we send them out as well. So we've got this off-board cam. There's 5 cameras available. There's the Ofcom, then there's T-cam, then there's a backwards facing cam as well. There's also this overview map. You see there's the shoulder cam, and then there's also as well as we ride on T-cam, there's also the map, the off-board cam as well. But yes, you can see not going great. We're 17th and 19th, so not too bad to start. As well as Latifi. I've sent Latifi out in clean air, so he's not closed up, but he hasn't really got the pace, to be honest. As well as you come through this, tyres are too hot. That's annoying. We might have to look at a tyre wear upgrade if we can, as well, because something to hopefully increase the tyre wear, or tyre heating to decrease the tyres overheating, because they're overheating. That's a big problem for us. Vettel and Stroll are out. Aston Martin, of course, are our nearest challengers, going to be in this start of the career mode as well. Can Albon improve and get at least one of them? He's definitely not going to improve to beat Tsunoda, who's set a time that's 8/10 faster than Stroll. Up to the line is only P18, a 10th off Stroll and Vettel. Latifi isn't improving. That's not good for Nicholas. So he comes across the line and will end up being P20 and last overall.
Looks like we didn't make it through to Q2. Not great, but it's only the first weekend of the season. Plenty of time to improve.
We definitely need upgrades as well to improve the car, and then better drivers, because, you know, as much as, you know, Latifi is seen as the GOAT, he's not that great.
It's time for the final touches here on the grid ahead of today's race.
Williams had a good performance in qualifying. Now they'll be eager to demonstrate that they can have an even better race. Aston Martin were on target for qualifying. Now it's up to them to defy expectations for the race itself. There are a few clouds here tonight, but the sky remains mostly clear. Will it stay this way, or will the weather throw a spanner in the works?
And there's going to be a lot for the teams to handle. So will the drivers and their cars be able to cope with the pressure? Let's find out right here at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
So looking at the strategy then, the game is suggesting a 2-stop. Don't know if we can stretch that to a 1-stop. I think we're going to try the 1-stop with Latifi and be aggressive with Albon on the 2-stop, because I think he's got a lot more pace. And we'll have to see what happens, but that is going to be the plan of action. I saw a lot of people trying doing the 1-stop successfully in their career modes as well. And then for Latifi, well, we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to put him on mediums as well, and then try and see if he can get to the end. It's going to be tough though. The tyre wear not great for us. You can see, but if you can underperform on that, overstretch those tyres, then he might be good. But that's the plan for us. Latifi will start on the mediums as well. Strategy C for Latifi. So yes, 73% confidence. So we've improved the confidence. That Latifi's though only 62. So that's a little worrying sign as well. But yes, without a doubt, let's head to the race.
The drivers are lined up tonight under mostly clear skies. Here we have Alexander Albon. They're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. Next up for the team, it's Latifi. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. Will their hard work pay off today? Here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Can Albon get a good start on those soft tyres? Looks like compared to the two Aston Martins, looks like everyone starting on the soft tyres there. As well as we get a little bit of an ERS introduction. There's basically 5 methods a thing, but compared to, you know, like the F1 game with 3. I don't know how realistic this is. Because we don't, you know, is there actually a harvest option as well? But you know, the drivers as well should be able to defend this themselves rather than me doing it, really. Potentially, as Magnussen has gone wide at that corner. There was a lot of lockups. One thing I don't like. There's a couple of things I don't like about the game. First is the fact you have to do 100% races. There's no option to do shorter races, which, as a casual player of every game, it's disparaging because, you know, the races are an hour and a half long. Yes, you can speed up the races, but at the end of the day, as well, I want to be able to race 25 or 50% distance like I can do in the F1 game, should I wish to. And then, of course, the other thing is some of these stuff down here can be a little bit confusing what it actually means as well. And also the fuel. You can see here, Latifi I put into low fuel saving because I thought it was on -1 laps, but not entirely sure there. I do like the fact they allow you to see replays mid-season as well. The graphs also, this fuel one doesn't really show, is really useless because it doesn't show you a lot. I don't like the fact when you hover over something and you want to see the lap chart, especially when you're down the bottom. It just doesn't move away as well. So those are my criticisms of the game. As you see, Latifi is just slow. I'm not going to lie. He's not looking quick in this race. So hopefully somebody those are my criticisms of the game. Hopefully they can be developed for future games. As well as Albon is finally past Vettel as Stroll has pit. We're going to pit Albon onto a set of hard compound tyres. Now, in hindsight, I'm going to little spoiler for those of you together, as Albon is past Mick Schumacher. Lovely job there. Sorry, not Albon, Latifi, excuse me. So, nice overtake from Latifi, but his pace at the start just wasn't there, and he just fell away. Which isn't great, and which is why we need to potentially look at replacing him as well. As into the pits comes Albon onto the hard tyres. I think we should stick with our strategy in the end. Latifi, in hindsight, we should have tried to extend this by at least 10 laps and then possibly go for soft tyres maybe on Latifi, really see if he can make some lap time up. But I mean, they've gone 19 laps, so if we could have got the mediums, then it would have been a long way. And you see Latifi is now battling Schumacher, and Schumacher goes past as well. And there's Magnus. He does eventually lose out to Magnussen and Ricciardo, but he keeps Schumacher behind him. So, to be fair to Latifi, he's not doing that bad. He's extended this stint as well onto this hard compound one. You can see the hard compounds. I didn't know this at the time, but that bottom line on the thing, that is where the tyres will start to fall off. And you can see there that, you know, with a 2-stop was the way to go in the end. But yes, we didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time, but I've realised that now. So For future episodes, that's definitely something we'll look at, but at this moment in time when recording, I didn't know that, and I thought we could have done a one-stop, like they do in real life really, but Bahrain of course has always been harsh on tyre wear as well. 2.9 seconds, but it's going to put in last. You see, Albon has lost out to both Vettel and Stroll, and jumped to lap 26. It's just not working for us. As well, yes, I like the pace target stuff, but I think the ERS stuff is a little bit too complicated, and I think it should be up to the driver to use what he wants, and then obviously remind the driver if overtake is available on the percentage, because they should be able to see that you're overusing the battery, etc, etc. That's what I want to see from my side. I think that's a little bit too much control for the player, personally speaking. But there we go. We're just not catching the two Aston. Yeah, we sit here with trying the two Aston Martins, but they're not doing much. And you know, we should have split our strategies in hindsight and done Albon on the 2-stop to match Vettel. And then we could have put Latifi against Stroll, but Latifi's pace just wasn't there, even on his hard compound tyres. Albon is fair going to get back past both of them, but DRS is just so powerful that he's not able to pull away. He doesn't have the overriding pace in the car, as Magnussen's gone off again for about 15th time this episode as well. So nice to see a few AI mistake, but then there's Albon getting lapped. So very frustrating. As you can see here, Albon big trouble. This is the start when I was regretting trying to put the one-stop on both cars, because it hasn't worked, and everyone's pitted for a second time here. As well as you've got this, you can see we fast forward 16 times, but it's still, you know, and Vettel and Stroll have actually caught up despite making another stop. That's how slow Albon's been going, and we're going to have to come in for another stop for Albon. Latifi, I think we can just about get away with it if he avoids the curves, but you know, I've stopped caring about him because he's so far behind at this point. It's not worth it, and it's something to think about for Jeddah to be a bit more aggressive on the strategy, maybe with one of the cars, potentially Albon. So we'll have to wait to see where the car is at Jeddah if it pays from auto or straight. There's for Albon, and he came in and came out behind Latifi. Latifi's been holding him up, to be honest, and to be honest, there's no point. We might as well let Albon pass as he gets lapped, and he's going to let Albon pass at the same time as well. And in these closing laps, it was actually quite nice to see the potential of the car on fresh tyres, because he was battling George Russell, who was a lap ahead, pretty much in no man's land, not catching Gasly. But you can see here just the fresh tyres. I've told him to go flat out on pace and on fuel, because he's got 1.4 laps of fuel more, but the game won't let him unlap himself and move ahead.
Look at that! Leclerc takes first place!
You can't say they didn't earn it. They put in an amazing performance today.
So Leclerc wins like you do in real life. Von Verstappen, though, unlike in real life, is again Albon. You know, the pace was definitely there. Maybe look at a tyre wear upgrade, if there is a tyre wear upgrade as well, because everything's sort of just like it is in motorsport management. We have to design stuff and then manufacture it, not like in the F1 game where you just press a button with R&D points as well. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. Could we have beaten Vettel and Stroll on the 2-stop? I don't know. We possibly could have extended the medium stint, bearing in mind on what Latifi did on those mediums. But you know, Latifi in the end is going to be way behind. And see how much further, just on those fresher soft tyres, where Albon is compared to Latifi. So a lot of work to be done as well on the strategy side.
An okay performance for Alex Albon today. This was a mixed performance from Williams today. Some excellent decisions and then some strategies that will need a bit of work.
Absolutely. This was very promising, and now the team will be doing everything they can to make good on that promise.
Now that all the points have been tallied, the team is in 10th place in the constructor standings.
The teams now look ahead to the next round, where they'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.
So yes, in the end, Mercedes, Hamilton P5, Russell, unlike his real life self, lost 2 positions as well. And our fastest lap, Albon set a fastest lap faster than Vettel and Stroll. So there is promise, definitely, but, there's a lot. It shows that we need to develop this car a lot more.
The team's drivers gain experience over each race weekend, depending on their performance. With enough experience, your drivers will be able to improve their skills. Congratulations on completing the first race weekend of the season. The team's outcome will have had an effect on board confidence levels. You can see their response in more detail in the board menu, but there's plenty of time for that to change over the season. Take a look at what you can be doing before the next race weekend gets here. Our time is precious, and these moments between races are a good point to develop our team further. You should have an email from the engineering team over in the warehouse. Check it out. It might be something interesting.
Yes, we'll definitely check that out as well. But 20th and 19th, not where we really want to be as well. But let's see if we can improve this car for Jeddah.
It looks like the engineering team have just finished manufacturing a car part. It's a suspension system, one the team designed earlier. Improving our cars is a constant process. The other teams won't be taking it easy, and having a cutting-edge car is vital if we want to stay competitive against our rivals. New car parts are initially designed by the team.
So there we go. We've got Dennis Hauger. We'll go to that in just a moment. And I also scouted an head and aero as well. For Aiken, you can see there is actually 3 better than Aiken. We're going to offered him as well. We sent that proposal. Doesn't like the salary though, so we'll put him a bonus as well. See if he likes that. Okay, still doesn't like the salary. This is a little bit frustrating. It's not as cheap as a motorsport manager, 240 grand. Still doesn't like the salary. Okay, we'll reduce the contract by a season up to 3 grand, 100,000. It's going to be a little bit costly, but if we can get him in a couple of FP1s in place of Latifi, then he's somebody we can develop just in case we want to put him in the car as well. We're going to put the suspension on Albon's car. It's pretty clear that that's the person we want to develop. We're also going to develop 3 more of those for 150 grand to give us one on cut the other car, and then also one on Latifi's car. And then obviously got this head of aerodynamics as well, which are scouted. He's 74, he's a free agent. We're going to put some detail scancing on Oscar Piastri as well, who isn't of interest in yet. So we need to develop the car before we can get Piastri's interest. That is the plan of action as we go throughout the season. So yes, if you have enjoyed this episode, then leave a like, subscribe to the Unlocked News, see plenty more F1 Manager 22 career modes episodes. Don't forget to go and check out my Twitch page, link in the description below, to come and join these episodes in future on stream. Until the next video, then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.